When our daughter Gianna came home from the hospital at 2 months old with an NG tube to supplement her daily feedings, it was an adventure. I thought I'd overcome the greatest challenge when I hesitantly learned how to place her tube, but it soon became apparent that managing those feedings and the associated vomiting would provide a great challenge of its own. We discovered that running feeds slowly and reducing Gianna's movement and activity after feedings would help with our attempts to reduce vomiting, but still she experienced it several times a day. I wondered how she could possibly grow when so much of her nutrition was being scrubbed off the floor or tossed in the laundry. Plus, I couldn't help but wonder how limiting her activity and movement throughout the day was affecting her overall development. As Gianna grew, I noticed she began to tolerate her ordered feeds better, but when it was time for the next GI visit, her feedings would be increased to encourage her continued growth, and we would be back to increased vomiting again. I expressed this observation to her GI doctor, but her feedings would always be increased because growth was the goal. I began to dread those visits and the increased feeds and vomiting that I knew would result. Months passed, and Gianna found herself in the hospital with an acute GI illness. When the GI doctor on staff at the hospital came in to meet us, he asked us what was going on. I told him about the acute symptoms she was having, but I also filled him in on her struggle with feeding and vomiting. "So she's growing as well as she is on the amount that she's been netting?" he asked. I will never forget those words. They screamed, "I hear you. You are not crazy. Your observations and deductions are valid." We left that hospitalization requesting that this provider become Gianna's GI provider going forward. He understood us, and he would fight with us for Gianna's best outcome. In time, we were able to reduce feedings and yet maintain growth since she was able to keep her feeds down. Gianna was able to live more actively each day and even get out of the house on occasion. It wasn't a magic bullet to all of our feeding and growth issues, but having this provider listen and participate in shared decision-making with us truly impacted our quality of life in amazing ways. In time, this provider partnered with us to further reduce feedings, allowing Gianna to experience hunger and therefore increase her motivation and independence with eating. As a result, we were able to wean her from the NG tube and avoid a G tube placement, as we had hoped. The value of family-centered care and shared decision-making cannot be overstated. We are so grateful to have providers who practice it.